Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, live from the Ministry League studios in North Georgia, each week with John the Professor Podein and Paul Superman Spurlin, and with producer Caleb Sampson behind the glass on the Ministry League Network. And on all your other favorite platforms, here with all your ministry talk and the latest in news and sports. It's the Jon and Paul Show live.
Welcome to the Jon and Paul Show, brought to you by the Ministry League, ministryleague.com. Everywhere on social media is at Ministry League. And we thank you for joining our show, watching our show. We have Caleb Sampson from Heritage Christian University, who is putting all this good stuff together. Big thanks to Heritage being one of our sponsors. Also, the Calhoun Church of Christ, and, of course, the Piedmont Road Church of Christ right here in Marietta, Georgia. Live here from the great state of Georgia. Jon Podein is with me. What is up, my friend?
Oh, you were getting ready to say the great state of Alabama, weren't you? You were so good.
No, Georgia's great to me. What are you talking about?
Oh man, it's been almost 2 years, Paul, and you're still got to. I know. I understand. It takes a little bit of time to get it.
I'm actually really good. Go ahead.
Oh, well, good. It's good to see everybody. Oh, we are. Are you recovered yet from exposure?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay, I was.
I preached like 2 days after it was over. So
you did.
I was ready to go.
You did. You had to get right up back to everything. But yeah, it is good to see everyone, Paul, and good to see you and Caleb. And hey, guess what? It's 2023.
It is 2023.
Man, did you ever think we'd make it to 2023?
No.
No,
I did not.
Oh man,
a lot of crazy things have happened so far this year. Laney Rose turned 15. Laney Rose got her permit. Laney Rose has already driven on open road and actually isn't doing too bad. She's doing pretty well.
Yeah, you sent me that picture the other day, and I was like, oh, poor Paul. He's having a hard time.
It's tough.
He's having a hard time right now. All
things considered, if you know me and things about my family and stuff, my daughter being behind the wheel is nothing that I'm happy about. But you got to train her right so that there are no mishaps.
That's right.
That's all I got to say about that.
And then there's boys. We need a special show, Paul, on what it's like to be Paul Spurlin's daughter and dating people. I would love us to do a show on that.
Well, there is stories in that.
Yes,
hey, what's funny is we it was a chorus thing before Christmas. I actually met boyfriend for the first time. And not just me, but Laney's grandfather also met this boy. And it was funny how they kept him as far away from Philip as possible.
Yeah, Laney. I talked to her about that. She was kind of freaked out, worried about old Philip there a little bit. I don't know why she would be freaked out and worried about Philip.
He's very forward and honest about everything. I don't understand what the issue is.
Absolutely everything. That's why they call him the Pope.
That's right.
So
leave nothing on the table. Get it all out there.
Yeah, for sure. And for those that know Philip, you know what we're talking about. So, well, Paul, how is things going over south of us here?
Really good. Really good. It's been raining every day. I won't lie. It's tough to find motivation in the morning. It is tough to find motivation in the morning when it's raining and you're driving in, and especially driving as far as I am. My choice, I know, but it's just tough to get going in the mornings. It's just, I do it, drop off Ty at school at 7, and I'm out here. I'm here by 8, but it's just, man, but you get here and so many good things going on. So many great folks here at Piedmont Road. We're just blessed.
That's good.
How about Calhoun? How you doing?
Right. Yeah, we're doing awesome, man. We're kicking some stuff off and really rolling with everything. We got a big Sunday we got coming up this Sunday. We're doing some stuff on a not membership drive, but trying to get everything organized and some things like that. So we got a big day with that, and new quarter starting we're doing with education. And yeah, it's just good. But Paul, it has been raining a lot and no snow. I've been waiting to see the snow, and we haven't had any yet.
Not since Huntsville.
Not since Huntsville. Yeah.
And I'd kind of be okay if it didn't ever snowed in Huntsville again during the dates of 26th to 30th of December. But that's just me, whatever.
Yeah, Caleb hopes that too.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, Caleb hopes that too.
That is true.
Yeah, Paul.
John, one thing I think is kind of cool is you and I kind of do the same thing at both Calhoun and Piedmont Road, right here, kind of in the middle to north area here of the state of Georgia, the great state of Georgia. But you are the minister of engagement and
outreach.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I am the connections minister. And I got thinking, what is the difference in what John does?
You just wanted a fancy name.
Well, yeah, more new wave. Well, yours is a longer name. There's more to that and stuff.
I needed something.
You got to have more degrees for that. And I guess you qualify.
That's what it was. I was trying to add in more letters to make it balance out.
There you go.
Is what I was trying to do. But no, we do kind of.
But the cool thing is, we do some things, and I think what we need to start doing on this show. What are we doing to connect? What are we doing to engage? And give some tips. To help people out in order to get things started. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think that'd be a great thing for us to do because, that's probably the biggest challenge that a lot of us have in church world is, well, how do you do some of these things? How do you make that connection? How do you reach people that almost seem unreachable? And so for too many years, it's been, it's whatever takes place in this building. And so we got to get out of that mindset. And so I think that's kind of what you and I are kind of focused on and what we're trying to do at our respective congregations.
Yeah. I know that there's some things that you've done there at Calhoun, and we just recently started this. So that's the Connect 4 program.
Yeah.
You started in the parking lot. We started at the front door, and really Jake and I actually introduced this again to everybody a couple of Sunday nights ago. It went over really well. But you have that. You have the ACTS formula that we're using at both Calhoun and Piedmont Road, and we've gone through it pretty well, I think, on both sides as far as that goes. And we've gone through that on the show in the past. We might break it down and do a little later on that. One other thing too, just keep in mind when it comes to this show and what things we do, and I see this a lot. There's a lot of folks that are following us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and we're so thankful for that. Please keep that in mind. That is at Jon Paul Show. And the website is jonandpaulshow.com or .live. Things there. And we'll be updating things on there as we go. So website, social media, reach out. I see a lot of people posting things in the group, the page and everything. So keep doing that. Keep talking to us. Go ahead.
No, constantly I'm seeing people, and that's awesome. It's keeping the communication going.
Yeah, and so continue to do that so we can, but also put in there, is there anything going on in your congregation? I want to challenge everybody out there. What are some challenges going on in your home congregation that we can address, that we can talk about? And maybe if it's something you tried at your congregation, we can try it and see how it works and share it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that's the beauty. That's the beauty of how God set up the church. When Christ left and he says, go, he didn't tell you how to go. He just said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go make disciples. And there are different techniques, there are different ways to be able to do that. And I think that's the beauty of having autonomous congregations. What works at one may not work at another. And it's okay. And so trying to find your niche and trying to find what really fits. And that'll definitely be some good things we can talk about here in the future going forward.
Yeah. One of the things we started working out here, and one thing I'm really excited about in the next 2 or 3 weeks away from now is we're going to have a night dedicated. Yeah, sign at the door. Dedicated to our autism ministry, our special needs ministry, which we call the Kind Ministry. We got a room dedicated to it and everything like that. We'll talk more about that in future weeks. But today I'd like to share a little bit about what's kind of the focus comes from Hebrews 13, verse 16, about serving each other and being there for one another. It says, and do not forget to do good and to share with others with such sacrifices God is pleased. We're doing service projects within our groups. Being the Connections Minister, we have started a Connections program which splits our congregation up into 4 groups geographically, and they do different things for their group. And so the service projects kind of very specifically or easy is find a shut-in in your group, and some groups have 3 or 4 shut-ins. Our group, I'm the red group, imagine that, but I'm the red group. And in our group, we have, well, I didn't say crimson red, it's just red, but it's red. Anyway, is find a shut-in and see what needs to be done at their house. Help them out. Call them, send cards, things like that. I literally made a graphic for it. And the graphic basically said, let them know how much we love them. Maybe sing a song while you're there. Say a prayer before you leave, and offer to lend a hand. And some people, they don't want to.
Right.
But a big thing we need to share is in serving the family, we need to not only have people that we can serve, but those that need the help, or maybe they don't need it, but possibly could offer things people can do. Give us a chance to do that service. And that's kind of how those, you go back to 1 Corinthians, everything fitly joins together, and things work for what it was supposed to work for.
Right. And it is. And I think, Paul, sometimes we try to make it harder than what it is. Or if it's not some big grand scale event, then that we're not working as hard, or we're not doing things. With all throughout New Testament, you find the idea of serving others. You find the idea of Paul says in Philippians 1, Philippians 2, and they're about looking over at the interest of others above yourself and everything. And it's something can be just as simple as what you're saying within your own, and especially when you have a congregation the size of Piedmont Road, of splitting it up into separate groups to be able to sit up here. So you focus on your 20, 30 people that are in your group, 40 people that are in your group. And when somebody has a need, then you're taking care of them. It's just reaching out to them. And like you said, a lot of times they're not going to want you to do anything anyway, but it's the fact of, do you care? And that they care, and that you're valued, and that you show that you're valued. We are doing our focus, where we have been doing really since December, is taking the foster parents of Gordon County, and that is where we've kind of adopted them as care of just lending a hand, whether it's with a meal, whether it's what they call respite care, of giving them a day off and giving them a break. And we have 9 of the families. There's so many families in here, but we have 9 specifically that have, because of that, have shown interest into the congregation here. And so that's opening a door also for study. But it's looking for the people and looking for the things, whether it's in our congregation or immediately in the community, just to lend a hand.
I love that. Reaching out to groups in your community, which is something we need to extend to every congregation, is find what's going on in your community that has a need or could use a hand occasionally, and be there. Having an open door policy with the people in your community, I think, is a big deal.
Well, Paul,
there seems to be. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you this: how has been the response, just for everybody who's watching this? What's been the response with the shut-in ministry that y'all are doing? And I know you kind of only recently started it, but what's been the response back?
Well, it's I think it's overwhelming that everybody wants to do something, but well, some of when you think shut-in, you think of folks that are older and they're trying to avoid COVID and flu and all of those stuff. So it's like, please don't bring a whole bunch of folks in my house. And we get that. We respect that. And and in fact, I just sent an email. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying sure. Yeah. You have to.
Because what we do is we send emails to our groups. So me and Andrew Rogers, you probably know him, but you should. He's a cool guy. Are the leaders of Red. And he's the leader of the group. I'm his assistant. So yeah. So we work together. But this morning we sent out an email to the whole group saying we went over, we met with and visited with Tommy and Judy Parker. Wonderful family. She has a disease that is keeping her from being able to get out much. But they're the ones that always send the cards. They're the ones that always make the visits. And Tommy was the one that always combed the auditorium for anybody new. And so I'm like, these folks have done so much for us over the years. Let's do something for them. And so myself and Ron and Marcy Cox went over their house on Tuesday, and one of our other members of our group, and we went and kind of assessed the house, the situation, and looked at things. And of course, house is in great shape. Tommy's done a great job, and there's not a lot of need for work there. But we just tell them, send cards. We're going to do this big old card and sign it, and probably get the whole church to sign it and get to them, and just acts of love is what they need, and encouragement, because they're kind of new to the whole shut-in scene, because they're not used to doing it. She's not very mobile, but they always have that pew. They always came to church. And so people are just really quick to want to help out. And we even got folks in other groups want to help them out as well. But we got shut-ins everywhere. And so it's time to make that contact. And I think it's an easy way to start a service project. When you say service project, people are like, oh, what do I do? No, let's just do this.
Yes. Yes, it is. To use a proverbial phrase, it's not rocket science. It's just doing.
Exactly.
I mean, and I love it. I love that y'all are doing that.
Yeah. So there are 3 phrases that scares the Christian. 3. Okay. I mean, there's only a bunch, 3? But I got 3. Only 3. I got 3. I just thought of it. When it comes to what we do with Connections Ministry and connecting with people, when you say these 3 things, people, they shudder. That sometimes they seem scared, and I fall in the same category. Like, oh, what do I do? I got to prepare myself. But I think it's something that needs to be addressed, because sometimes I think the way we market stuff in the church and with our community and with our congregation, it can make it something that's is easier to attain. So first of all, don't feel like you have to be a scholar to have a Bible study. I think people feel like they have to know everything before they can go sit down with the Bible. That's not the case. So here's the 3 things. Number one is visitation. When you say visitation team, you're like, oh, what do we got to do? I'm like, well, just go see somebody. I think we just reword it or show it somewhere else or put a cool graphic with it. And it changes everything. But visitation hurts folks. The second thing is service project. We called this service project. I probably shouldn't have called it that. But when you say, let's just go help a shut in, it's like everybody's on board. They're like, what can we do for them? Let's figure it out. And then the last part, sadly, is Bible study. Let's conduct a Bible study. Ooh, I don't think I can do that. Well, that's where the roundtable discussion, Discovery Bible Study came in, and we reinforced that a lot. We create different shapes and sizes for what things are to try to make it easier to attain and easier to share with others. And group stuff's easy to do.
It is. It is. And when you're with a group, it makes it easier to do it. And you feel more confident because you're not by yourself and things like that. So, you put people in winning situations. You think you're the football coach, and you're trying to put the right people in the right place to help the team succeed. And
I love that.
Yeah. See, look at there. And there have been some great coaches.
I'm writing it down.
Maybe going past their prime and stuff like this, but
Put people in winning situations.
Yep.
I'm ignoring that last thing you just said.
I figured you were. I was waiting to see if you would. Yes, I will have some questions when we get to the sports side.
He's trying to create a segue here. I am. I think that's the thing for today. I like sharing a connections engagement thing that we can share each week. So we'll share something, I think, every week. And please stay tuned. Tune in every week, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, to the Jon Paul Show, and we'll be sharing that. We'll talk about some news. We'll talk about a connection opportunity, but also sports. We'll get in that in a little bit. I know we were going to do a recap of exposure here. Yeah. I don't know what else to say, except it was pretty incredible. I think it was the best year
yet.
Great year.
One of the best years.
The speakers were great. Yep. The classes were great. The food was about the same as it always is. But food it was food. Just food is food. And some changes will be made. We listen to our people, right, John? And so we'll make some adjustments. Registration will be different next year. We're working on that and just trying to work to make it a little easier to get to.
And that's the thing, Paul. What we do with exposure, and I even spent this past weekend with Larry Davenport out at CYC Dallas, and he was saying y'all just have a different monster than what we do. like what he was talking about with registration with CYC and things like this. And so,
Mhm.
nobody else is doing what we're doing on that scale. And so it is, and there are growing pains. There's always growing pains with it. And so
Mhm.
we're trying to work on some of that stuff, and excited about what next year will look like, and the whole theme of into reality. And yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Of course, what I can't help but think of when I hear the theme from last year or for this next year, Paul.
What's that?
All I hear in my head is "Back to life, back to reality." Oh, man, I feel like
I
we're
get
back in
you.
the '90s going here,
Yeah,
and um,
there's a
so
few
yeah,
songs that hit that for sure.
yeah, but we're excited.
We are. We're also looking forward to the Ministry Experience, which will be right here in Marietta, 5, 6, 7 of May, and looking forward to that.
And then our Scotland, and taking place of what's going to take place in the experience in Scotland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So much going on without that, and details getting done for that as well.
Yep.
Well, John, let's go ahead and jump in some sports here. Let you get your fix in, and we'll move on with the day.
What are you talking about? Yeah, my fix here, Paul. I mean, did you watch
There's
pregame?
3 big things happening right now. 3 big things. One's history. It's past. Let's move on. Another one is about to be here. Another one is right now. So what has happened last week, and as everyone knows, Georgia won the national championship again. Congratulations. When Georgia wins the national championship, the brethren are happy. So I'm happy they get that time to be happy. There's that. We have college basketball about to be right around the corner, but right now, presently speaking, is NFL playoff time. So that's happening right now. So
that is true.
Any thoughts on that?
I got to
John?
ask you this: we'll definitely give you NFL playoff because we got to go for the Jags.
I know you will, Cartersville.
Still going in there. I can't believe it. I mean, they probably won't make it past Kansas City this week, but you got to give that props to them. So, Paul, my question to you is: did you watch the pregame things with ESPN? It definitely did, Landon. Did you watch the pregame of the national championship stuff when you had Nick Saban up there with all the ESPN talking heads? And how hard was it for him to keep a straight face when they said, it's now Georgia's dynasty?
Well, I mean,
it has passed the torch.
2 championships are a nice start. I mean, 2 championships are a nice start. It's just kind of tough when you've had 6 in a row almost, and all of a sudden it's like you can't revisit that.
He didn't have 6 in a row. He didn't have 6 in a row.
Yeah, he did. Well, it wasn't year by year, but I mean, let's face it. In 10 years, I mean, he had 6 national championships.
You're correct.
So I mean,
you're correct.
I'm not living in the past. It happened. I'm just simply saying there's no reason to think it couldn't happen again. We'll see. Yes. But congratulations to Georgia. I mean, they did it well, and
I will say this: Nick Saban went out for the early signing day period and put his foot down, said, "I ain't going nowhere, brah."
Yes, he did.
And
my question is, why is that Calipari can get a lifetime contract, but Saban can't? I don't understand that because Kentucky's going down the pooper. Sorry.
Well, that's for Kentucky fans and their view of basketball.
That's true.
To handle all that, I think it's good. I think the college football landscape from, and let me say this with this year, we wanted parity. They've been wanting parity in things. I do think the semifinal games were really good and really well played. Some great games. TCU, Michigan, and Ohio State, Georgia.
Sure.
TCU was just way overwhelmed. After Georgia didn't have a good game against Ohio State, you knew they were going to come out and just beat their face in.
Yeah. Well, the committee did it wrong, and I know they're going to think I'm assuming that Bama should have been in the top 4. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think TCU should have stayed where they were, where they lost their game. When you lose a game, you usually fall. But what the committee was trying to avoid was another Michigan Ohio State battle. I get it, but not being a part of it. Here's a truth and a real right here. It was boring for me to watch this game. This Georgia destroy TCU. But if it was Bama doing it, I would have enjoyed it so much. I mean, it is what it is.
You would have,
but,
yes.
But a better game obviously would have been Georgia versus either Ohio State or Michigan. And
there's two things. There are two things I'd like for college football playoff people to never do again. Number one, do not put the national championship game at a stadium where tailgating is not allowed. Tailgating is synonymous with college football.
That's true. I don't
Number
understand.
two, do not play a national championship game in a gazebo, a giant $1 billion gazebo with no sides to it and nothing to block the weather from coming into the sides and flooding in the thing. It was funny watching the fans and everybody, they're all getting soaked. Now the playing field was at least, give the props. It was dry, but it was funny watching this big giant, tent being rained in on. But
I know it's all about money, but I don't understand why they don't use the NFL stadiums. Well, I guess because of the seating is not as many.
That was an NFL stadium.
Yeah, I know, but it was like the first time ever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they'll use Jerry's World, but I don't know.
If I'd have paid that much money to be at the game, I'd been ticked if I'd have been wet the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I
bottom
do.
line, Georgia won.
They did.
Congratulations to them. Again, the brethren are happy. I'm happy. So,
are you?
Let's go.
As he grits.
I'd have been more disappointed if TCU would have. Well, let's not. I don't want to get to that. Let's just.
All right, fine. We'll move on. NFL playoffs, Paul. What do you think? Since your Titans are no longer in this, going after.
They were no longer 7 weeks ago. What are you talking about?
So what are your thoughts going in here? Going further, Brady's gone. You got the playoff quarterbacks that are left. I think the oldest is like 27 years old.
They're young. Yeah. And that's probably is that Mahomes?
Probably.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think the Chiefs. Do you know that we may have a playoff game here in Atlanta?
Yeah, that's a possibility. With
Bills win.
With the Bills Chiefs playing it here in.
I'd like that to happen. I'd like to be the Bills Chiefs.
I would consider trying to find tickets to go to that game.
I think people will go.
And I'm not a fan of the NFL at all.
There's a big contingency of Bills fans in this area too. I think is
there really?
I think so. From everything I'm hearing, that there really is, especially with DeMar Hamlin and all that's going on. And he's got a lot more fans on that at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be. I think Bills Chiefs.
So you don't give Jacksonville any chance against the Chiefs?
No, they were lucky to win the last game.
Were they?
It was a comeback. It was a great comeback.
Skill? And I love that Trevor Lawrence went to Waffle House afterwards.
Is that what Malzahn used to do? Anyway,
I don't know.
I can't believe I remember that or care.
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's not bad. You mean local Cartersville guy doing well?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, why not? One thing on the radio this morning they kept saying is that Trevor Lawrence has never lost a game on a Saturday.
On Saturday, yeah.
So they're like, we don't care. That's college. This is pros. Let's get with it. But we'll see what happens with that. On the other side of things, though, I mean, I like the 49ers. I'm not a Cowboys fan.
It's a good story. It's a good story.
It's Purdy. A great story. Those two clashing is awesome. But I have been following the Eagles from the most of the year because of Jalen and Devontae. Yeah. So that'd be tough if it ends up Eagles and 49ers, because D'Amico Ryans being the D coordinator there is kind of cool. So got some connections there for my guys. I follow more players in the NFL than I do teams, which is what local folks here are doing now with the Trevor Lawrence thing. But
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely. And then we got some college basketball, getting ready for March Madness going in there. Your Alabama team seems to be doing pretty well in that.
I don't want to jinx it, but they usually do well, and then they fall apart come tournament time. So we'll see what happens.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure. They are ranked number 3, Gonzaga at number 4. So Stephanie's a big Gonzaga fan. I'm pretty happy that we're ranked higher than them. But anyway,
that'd be nice. Steph, come get you.
And it's only because of the Bulldog thing. We got like a Bulldog cookie jar in our kitchen. We don't have cookies in it. She's always loved a Bulldog, and so Georgia folks, Steph's all in. That's all I gotta say. But that's most of what we got here. We got some things coming up. We got Freed Hartman lectures first full week of February happening, and then we have CYC and Vision Forge happening the last weekend of February, and so you can see both myself and John at one or both of those.
Yep. Yes, we will be there, and yeah.
And don't forget about the event coming up in May. ministryleague.com/experience. Get your information. A lot of really neat people coming in. Lori Boyd will be there again this year. Jeff Jenkins will be speaking for us Sunday morning, and some other guys. Excited about having Tucker Wallace. It's gonna be a good time.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah,
be an awesome time to get together.
Yep.
Well, Paul.
Well, John, we appreciate everyone for being here and for tuning in to the Jon Paul Show. Don't forget to go to the website, jonandpaulshow.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook page there at Jon and Paul Show. And, of course, Ministry League. Go to ministryleague.com and find out all you need, all the resources you need, all the podcasts. We're like 30-something podcasts there. Teaching resources. And I think there's a songbook too, John. So there's a songbook. It's there, but there's a lot of other things there too. So ministryleague.com, or download the free app everywhere on social media. For Caleb Sampson, that is Jon Podein. I'm Paul Spurlin. This has been the Jon and Paul Show. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Have a great week, and God bless.